Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How do you do? As you well know, that I'm now going into my seventh episode of the pros and cons of restaurants in the United States. Now, I haven't gone to Mexico yet because I've been to Mexico. I lived in Mexico, and in Mexico, I lived in Zacatecas, and I lived there from March 2019 all the way to March 2000, 2020. Sorry, and I left Mexico for a lot of reasons. You know, I'm not going to get into that. Maybe in another episode down the road somewhere. Maybe like in the movie, like the Walking Dead. Maybe we go into that area. Maybe. Anyway, Mexico, you got to understand about Mexico that, in spite of the fact that, things have gotten out of hand with this immigration nonsense and people being deported, it's not funny. I'm not laughing. I'm not making fun of them. It is wrong because I got a lot of Mexican friends. So I know how they feel. I know what they go through. I know I was in Mexico. When I was in Mexico, I understood why, for the first time, why they come over here and they escape out of there to come over here. And many of us don't know half of the story, why they come over here, why they decide to flee. And they flee for a lot of reasons. And one of them, they want a better life. That's what it is. They want to seek a better life. They are many Mexicans, maybe good Mexicans, and I'm not talking about the criminal ones. I'm talking about the good Mexicans that have a heart for other people, and they are good and kind. And I'm not saying that they're perfect either. They're not perfect like myself, like Puerto Ricans. Nobody's not perfect. We all got our little things going around. You know what I mean? So sometimes we do get in trouble with the law. Sometimes we make mistakes. We make some kind of errors. So that doesn't make us evil. That's only that's human nature. God made us. God knows our frame. God knows that we are made out of dust. God knows everything. God knows that we're gonna fall somehow along the line. We're gonna fail. We're gonna make a mistake. We're going to do a lot of freaking nonsense. And God is there to forgive, and so is the government. The government has to forgive. Period. I don't give a crap. If you don't forgive as a government, I'm sorry. Don't exist. Desist. Get out of here. Go back to coming to China, whatever. What I'm trying to say is that in Mexico, the reason why they flee, the reason why they leave, the reason why they get out of there is because of the crime situation. The crime. In other words, they have it up to here with the freaking crime. They have it up to here with people committing extortion over there. They up to here. People, they have a business. They open up a business. They open up a tortilleria, to make tortillas, or they got a little restaurant, to make tamales and stuff like that, to make certain kind of foods and stuff like that. And practically everybody there has a restaurant, even in their house, in the bottom part of the house, in the front, which is the garage. They convert into a little restaurant, and people go in there and they buy and they go. So what's happening when I was living there? Let me get into this little thing here before I get into the subject of the restaurants. I want to get into Mexico gastronomy. It's just to give you an idea why they leave, why they come over here to seek a better life, just like everybody else. All right, everybody else around the planet, they come here to seek a better life because they're up to here with nonsense in their country. And what's happening is that when I was living there in Guadalupe, there was a couple next door. A lady and a husband, and they were very good people. They're real nice people. We always talk to them. The guy used to come over, help us paint and fix things, whatever. We give him a couple of dollars, you know what I mean? And the guy was good, you know. But the thing is that he and his wife, they open up a business selling cheese, different kinds of cheese that we don't find here, that we find in Mexico, that are 10 times better than the one over here. And because I ate it, I know what I'm talking about. And he has a brother that lives a half a mile, no, half an hour from where we live, from where they live. It's called Trancoso. It's a nice little town. I went there. It's beautiful. It got a little hill that goes out. It's beautiful. Reminds me of Puerto Rico a little bit. And his brother is into the mafia. He's in the mafia business. You know, he's the one that goes around collecting money, committing extortion, like quota, like you pay him for protection. That's what I'm talking about. So what happened that the wife related to us that her own brother-in-law is threatening them. Look at this. His own brother, his own flesh and blood brother is threatening his brother and his wife if they don't give him money. In other words, you don't give me any money, you don't give me any quota, you don't give me any protection money, I'm going to F you up. That's what he said. So you know what I mean about F up, right? Okay, I don't use the word. But that's exactly what he told his brother. If you don't give me the protection money that I'm looking for, I'm going to freaking mess you up. He's going to do something bad to them. So that's to show you how things are in Mexico. Even their own families hate each other. Some, not all of them, but many that are into the mafia world, they will hurt their family, they will hurt their brothers and sisters, they will hurt their mother and father, and they will go as far as robbing them blind, like robbing them whatever. So anyway, that's why I left Mexico, because this guy was asking for me. He was like inquiring about me, that who I am. And I said, oh boy, you know. So anyway, so it turns out that I left. I got on the bus, and it took me 10 hours to get to McAllen, Texas. And from there, I went to San Antonio. From San Antonio, I went up back in New York. And then from New York, Puerto Rico, and then back to Houston. And then I landed in Houston or San Antonio. I forgot where I landed at. And the thing was that I finally decided to stay in Texas, somewhere in Texas. And what happened, that in Mexico, the food is very, very different. The seasoning, the condiments, the way they do it has a different texture than the one over here. Over here, some restaurants, not all of them, some Mexican restaurants, they need to pack up and leave and get out of here and close the shop because you don't know how to cook. I'm sorry. I apologize. I came across a couple of them in New Jersey, not here in Texas. At least in Texas, at least they cook good. Some of them. Not, I'm talking about out of 100, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 they messed up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But in Mexico, when I went to Acapulco, I ordered some rice with shrimp. Well, I paid 80 pesos, which is equivalent to 20 and 20 is 40. 1, 2, 3. It was $4, and it was horrible, terrible. It was no seasoning, no salt, no flavor whatsoever. And I said, what the hell is this? But other places, they cook better. I didn't try it, but I just went there. I don't know, somebody took me there. Anyway, I don't know how this person took me there. I don't know how in the world this person didn't catch it. Anyway, and I went to Cuernavaca. Cuernavaca is right before you get to Tasco, which is 6 hours away. And I went there and I stood there for a couple of hours because we had to wait for the bus. We had to wait 6 hours for the bus, but it took maybe 3 or 4 to get to Tasco. So I went, we found a little restaurant. It's like a little hole, like a little cave. And it was right behind a tiny little plaza. A plaza that is like 20 feet by 10 feet with something there, decoration. It was right behind. And I didn't see nothing until I went around. And I said, hey, let's go down here and check this place out. And my friend, let me tell you, they made me an omelet, a freaking omelet. Oh my God. That was the most delicious omelet I ever tasted in Mexico. And I didn't knew that the people do omelets. I said, what the heck? And then they had the bacon, and I told them I want the bacon crispy, well done. Oh my God. And then they had the frijoles. And they had the coffee. Oh my God. The coffee it wasn't like some Mexican restaurants over here in Texas. It tastes like water. This one was to the teeth. It was delicious. It was strong. It was perfectly done. But the omelet, I will never forget. It has some kind of cream, some kind of cheese inside, creamy cheese. Oh my Lord, the way they did it, you're not going to find that omelet nowhere in the United States. I'm telling you, not even a Mexican restaurant here that can even do it. Okay, that's to show you. Okay? And so I've been to those places. And, and in Zacatecas, going towards the capital, in between there, by the highway, there's a restaurant. It's called El Puertón, the big door, El Puertón. Now, I went there. We went there with a couple of people. My friend, if you wanna try breakfast, you're talking about IHOP, Cracker Barrel. This thing is 10 times better than those places. Because the way they make the eggs, the way they make, I forgot what I had there. They had, the coffee was phenomenal. It was scrambled egg with something. I forgot what it was. I forgot the dish, but it was freaking amazing. Delicious. I said, wow. And I always order that plate every time I go over there. And it's nice. You gotta go there. El Puertón. They call it El Puertón. It's right next to the highway up there. You can see the highway is on top. It's a highway that goes around. I think the highway is called because it's a highway that is only meant for trucks. Heavy stuff. So what happened that I went there and I had this breakfast and it was delicious. And then when they used to invite me to the ranchos, the ranchos, the food was different. The frijoles with the cheese inside, with the freaking tortillas and the ground meat and everything, and the mole, the way they were making it. Oh my God, it was delicious. You cannot compare it. There's no freaking way. You're not gonna find that food here in 100 years. Okay, unless you get somebody from down there, come over here and really dedicate him or herself to do it, and then you're going to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, coming back, this restaurant that it's called I forgot what the name of it. Oh yeah, it's in St. Petersburg, right down from Tampa. It's called Havana Cafe. When you go to, it's like an island or something. I forgot what it was. But I know that you're on this long highway bridge, and it goes down. It takes you to that area, and it's a road that goes straight, and it's on the left side. It's called Havana Cafe. Now, if you want to try some some pulled pork and black beans with the white rice, this is the place, my friend. This is the place. You're going to love it. You're really going to love this place. It is freaking delicious. For $8, oh, forget it. Yo, you can't go wrong. I think I spent $8 and change. You know, the tip, I gave them $5. And it was delicious. It was out of this world. And there's a lot of, there's more restaurants that I can't even mention right now. There's so many of them I went to. And I know I've been to one in Arizona. Is on, I think it's that road, Thomas something. It's right there by not downtown Phoenix. Is, I forgot. I'm very sorry. I apologize. But that restaurant, they made the best. They did me, the lady, she made me a chile relleno. A chile relleno is nothing else but a poblano pepper, a green poblano pepper that they fry it first to take out the skin, and then they take everything out, and then they put stuff inside, whatever have you. Then they smother it with egg white, and then the eggs, the yolk and everything, and then they turn it around and they put something in there, whatever. It was for $12. It was the best. Now, in the same area, all the way near downtown, I went to a Puerto Rican restaurant. And I was very, very disappointed. I forgot the name of the restaurant. You gotta forgive me again. It was a very long time ago. It was in 2000. I think 2018, around there, around that era. And I was totally disappointed. I mean, I asked for peppers. I asked for steak with onions, the Puerto Rican style. And remember I told you about the Puerto Rican restaurant in San Juan, El Jibarito, where they specialize in steak with onions. Well, over here, it was a piece of steak this big, that thing. It looked like a quarter-inch piece of ham that you cut in the deli. So it looked like something like that with onions. And I said, what the hell is this? And I spoke to the owner. I said, listen, what the hell is this? He says, oh, that's steak with onions, bro. Yeah, Puerto Rican style. I said, listen, does not even come close to Puerto Rican. Okay? A real steak with onions is supposed to be this other kind of meat that is kind of a little big like that, and it's mashed up and it got like little holes. That's the one that you use, pal. That's the one you use. You don't use this cheap stuff. Anyway, I left that place. I said, get the hell out of here. I left. I forgot about it. I forgot. I'm going to find out the name of the restaurant. I'm going to mention it next time. Anyway, so you got other restaurants. Some good restaurants have closed down. It's unbelievable how some restaurants, the best restaurants, that they cook the best, some of them they close down. I don't understand that nonsense. Why is it that the bad ones, the bad guys, the ugly, they all stay open all year long and cooking crap? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. I don't know, man. Something's wrong with this world. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share, guys. That's what I wanted to share. And this is episode 7, I believe. And episode 8, I'm going to try and mention other restaurants and that are bad and ugly. I'm looking for another name, but I can't find it. But anyway, listen, guys. God bless. Have a nice day. And be a blessing. And drive safe in your bike, your scooter, your car, whatever you're doing. Drive safe. And be careful with yourselves. Okay? God bless. I love you. Bye-bye.